is the Durkle Special Master.
Live and direct.
Breakfast with CubCamTV.
Trickstar Radio.
Yes then, people, we are back inside the building. It's just gone 5 minutes past 9 here on Trickstar Radio. How are we feeling this morning? We're about to jump onto the line for another edition of the interview hour. We've got a very exciting conversation on the way. Someone who's doing a lot of bits over in Bristol, someone who's had a very unique sound for a long period of time, and someone who I'm very interested to get into a conversation with. Man like Unkey is on the phone. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning. I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. It's great to get you on. It's great to get you on the line this morning. We were speaking a little bit before we went onto air. Are you currently sat in a hotel lobby?
I am, yeah.
Well, we'll try. What's Oh, carry on. Go.
I had to leave the room because my girlfriend and baby were asleep, so I was like, okay, I better go somewhere else.
Fair enough. We don't want to wake them. We want to keep everyone nice and smooth this morning. So, we've got a lot of stuff to get into. We've got a lot of stuff to get into conversation-wise. First of all, we opened up with a track from yourself, your remix of Trust Nobody, Slowy, and composer on the original. So talk to me about that tune and how you got involved in the remix, just to kind of kick us off before we dive into some background.
Just through my mate Coast on Durkle Disco. So he tends to come to me when he needs something quick and he needs a remix. So as I turned it around in a couple of days. And ever since the tune's gone off, it's one of those tunes like I often make a tune and it gets played for a couple of weeks and then people tend to forget about it. But this one has had a bit of longevity to it, which is nice.
Definitely, man. Well, it's a bit of a banger, I've got to say. A really good way to kick off the conversation this morning. Really, really nice. And I think it's a good way to kind of open up the conversation about your sound in particular. Like, how long have you been on this kind of production sort of side of things now? How long have you been involved?
I've dabbled in it for years and years, but I never really took it seriously. Probably since I went to ATM College in Bristol. That's Access to Music for those that don't know. I went there when I was 21, 22, so that's a good over 20 years ago. But then I didn't really start taking it seriously until I was about 30, until I met Coast again, and Coast was urging me to put some stuff out on Durkle Disco, so that's when I started taking seriously.
Wow! So
and ever since then, it's been a bit on and off, and then the last couple of years, I've started to really hit it again.
Well, it's been wicked to see, and obviously I've been watching from down here on the south coast. I've been seeing the things popping off, and obviously we've seen the releases on Durkle, and you do seem to have been quite an active part in the label in regards to regular releases and being one of the faces involved. What's the sort of sense of community up like there? Because we've had Coast on the show a couple of times. It's always a good giggle, but what's it like from, I suppose, an artist perspective?
Oh, Coast is the man. He's somebody you want to work with. He's so connected and he's so well respected. And if he ever comes to anyone, I think most people are more than happy to work with him. So he's someone I look up to a lot, and he's someone that's really, really helped me push myself. And I've got a lot of good things to say about him, really. Yeah, no,
100% agreement, mate. 100% agreement. We had him down here on Trickstar for a Durkle Disco takeover recently. Wicked show. And he's always good to talk to as well. One thing I wanted to kind of dive into, obviously, with your sound, you have a lot of kind of different things going on. You've got the kind of dubstep elements, kind of the influences there. You've got the darker garage bits kind of creeping in every now and then. Where would you say your sort of influences actually derive from? Is there like a kind of pool of sounds that you kind of go to?
Well, I'm a drum and bass head at heart, so I'm kind of influenced by all that early kind of Ed Rush and optical stuff. I don't know if that actually translates through my music, but all those kind of, I think that kind of late 98, 2002 drum and bass sound is, and those kind of big minor chords and all those stabs and all the drum breaks and stuff, that's what really, really gets me going. But I don't think that really translates into my music too much. that's a lot of my inspiration.
A lot of it comes from that sort of earlier D&B sound. Okay, I mean, you could sort of see the similarities, obviously, with that earlier, as you're saying, sort of Ed Rush and Optical sort of sound. There is a very kind of, I suppose, bulbous feel to a lot of the sort of the lot of low end, and that definitely translates across. I think something else I was very, very keen to ask you, obviously, with your sound and obviously the sort of growth of it over the last few years, is a very sort of dance floor heavy sound. It's a sound that's supposed to be heard on systems, that's supposed to be heard in big rooms.
Yeah.
So obviously the last year has been a surprisingly unusual one, shall we say, to put it lightly. Would you say that's affected the direction you've been taking your sound?
Definitely. Last year, when they announced lockdown, I was kind of licking my lips. I was like, right, I know what I'm doing for the next few months. So I kind of just hid in my room, hid away from my pregnant girlfriend. And basically I just got my head down and wrote as much music as I could. So I think this last year has really kind of taken me further than I would have thought, really, if that will make sense.
Yeah, no, it does entirely. I mean, with those sort of longer studio sessions, then, would you say the actual sound itself changed that you were using, or did you just very much hone in on that original sort of place you were heading?
I think I've always kept the same sound. I use a lot of I try and use a lot of atmospherics in my tunes, and I use a lot of samples, but I think the sound stayed the same, but the moods, I don't know how to describe it really. I've definitely gone more dance floor focused stuff and hitting more dubsteppy stuff, because before I was doing that kind of scatty 130 stuff. So I've definitely honed into one kind of sound now.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, kind of looking across that period, then, how much did you actually end up getting kind of finished up over the period? Because obviously it was a long sort of lock-in for a lot of producers who were able to spend a lot of time in that studio space. How much did you end up getting finished?
I think I had about 5 or 6 releases last year. I did 3 on Bandcamp. I did a couple on Durkle Disco. I did one on Photo Sounds, the label I run with Canon. I ended up putting about 15 tunes out, and all in all, I reckon.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of music.
I've done in my entire life.
Yeah, it's a lot of music, man. And I think when we kind of look back over this, there will be a lot of tunes that I know this is me personally. Every single day when I hear something now, I'm writing it down and going, must play this in a dance. Would you say with your sort of sound, that's something you're looking forward to, actually getting to play these tunes in the dances again?
Oh God, yeah. I don't know when that's going to be though, but I think it's going to be exciting when it really pops open again, because there's going to be so much fresh music to be played, and there's going to be all the music over from the last couple of years as well, or the last 18 months. So I think it's going to be pretty exciting when the clubs open again.
Definitely. No, I completely agree. There's just going to be this massive kind of gold mine, I suppose, of unheard, not even necessarily unheard, because we've heard a lot of the tunes, we just haven't heard them where we're supposed to hear them. You know what I mean?
I think it's going to be really, really exciting.
Definitely, no, I completely agree. Well, we're going to jump into a tune next, and obviously with these interviews, we really like to dive into the sort of background and kind of catch up with what's going on. So we've kind of covered from then to now, and I want to jump into one of the tunes from then to now as we move forward. It's got this new one. It goes by the name of Leng. Talk to me about this tune, how it came together, and what we can expect sort of sonically as we dive into it.
So this is a tune I wrote, and Eddie Seven from Uprise Audio started hitting me up for tunes. So I sent him a batch of tunes, and he was like, yeah, that's the one. I want that to be the lead track. And the tunes just basically me sampling. I got a long list of tunes. Basically what I do, I kind of go on Spotify and I kind of listen to random world music tunes, and I kind of get some inspiration, and then maybe if I find a tune I like, I'll try and sample something similar, and then knocked it all together. Kind of got that Eastern influence sound on there, which I quite like. I hope this is all making sense.
Yeah, no, it's making perfect sense. Sorry, I'm loving it. Well, we're gonna dive into this one now. It does go by the name of Leng.
I do tend to waffle on with no direction. So.
No, I'm loving it. I'm loving being able to sit and listen. It makes my life so much easier. But yeah, we're gonna get into this one now. It goes by the name of Leng. It's just gone 14 minutes past 9 here on Trickstar Radio. We're live on the line with man like Unkey. Keep it locked and don't go anywhere, people. We'll be back in a few minutes.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you their morning flavours on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.